And that's what a lot of Love in Black and White is about, that too, how media in the beginning was used for that purpose, to keep us apart, to continue the lie.
Hi, and welcome to Kelly, where we talk about life, your life and my life, and through Kelly we hope to inspire. I have Dempsey Gibson on the show today, and Dempsey is a writer, producer, and you have you've done a lot of things, but one of the things that you're working on right now is Love in Black and White, and I wanted to talk about that story because I think it's important as humans to keep having these conversations about race and why we are where we're at and why we can't get past where we're at.
Yeah.
So tell me what influenced this.
Well,
is it a short or is it a feature? No, it's a documentary.
It's a documentary.
Okay.
We're shooting it. It's going to be a 4-part documentary. Hopefully that will that's going to be shot over. It'll air over 4 days, and it's sort of like the PBS documentary Civil War. That's what I envisioned when I first started writing this, and it's basically a breakdown of the evolution of racial relationships in this country since 1940 to present day, and how media has influenced and changed that on all forms of media: film, television, print.
For bad or for good?
Both.
Yeah.
For bad, for good, and for it's almost like the evolution of where we started in 1940 to where we are today is amazing, but we also still have a lot further to go. Doing the research for it, I've found that things that we couldn't say in the 40s and 50s, we can say today, but the bigger picture is still there, even though media has changed point of view with the general public. For instance, Laura Ingraham, just a few months ago, was saying that LeBron James should stay in his lane and only talk about basketball when it came to politics, because he said something about the president. Now, in the 40s, LeBron James couldn't have said anything at all. Today he can, but the overwhelming element there is that there are still people in power, even in the media, that claim that they have an omnipresence and they can tell people what to say and do based on color.
Yeah. Well, and it's also based on professions too, because in the acting, in the film industry, you hear a lot during when we're getting ready to vote and stuff. There's things passed around, and I know I shared something on Tom Hanks, and somebody put, "Oh, he's an actor. He basically he shouldn't have an opinion." And my whole thing is, why? I mean, I'm an actor, but I'm a U.S. citizen, so I can't have an opinion.
Right.
And these people are well-traveled. They've been around the world. They had visited different places. So why can't a basketball player have an opinion on what's going on in his country?
Exactly.
Yeah, I get fired up about that.
Exactly. But media has also done its part in giving us a forum to speak about that. So it's shown the general public, I think, that we're more alike than we are different.
Yes.
But still, there is a segment of people that don't care about that.
Yeah.
Well,
so they don't know either.
We still have a ways to go.
Right. Yeah. I think the people that are still stuck in small mindsets, and I will call it that, are people that have not been subjected to different people and different cultures. Because I know growing up here, I grew up in Douglasville, Georgia, and it was primarily white. And so after Katrina happened, people were moved in, so the area changed and it became primarily black. And people were saying how they wouldn't be able to go to Walmart and they wouldn't be able to do this. And I find I can go to Walmart and there can be a line of black people, and they'll have a conversation with me as anybody else would have a conversation with me. So I started realizing that really these are lies that we're told our whole lives, and it's to keep us scared of each other.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of Love in Black and White is about, that too, how media in the beginning was used for that purpose, to keep us apart, to continue the lie.
Well, congratulations, we're together.
Yeah. Right.
So let's talk about, you have a book that you're writing, and it's called Don't Let Me Cry.
Yeah, it's about me taking care of my mom. She was diagnosed with Alzheimer's about 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And around that time, too, my stepfather, who she'd been married to for like 30 years, passed away. So I had to come back and take care of her. And the reason I call it Don't Let Me Cry is because at his funeral, my mom was in the beginning stages of Alzheimer's, but it was starting to kind of mess with her memory, but she could still talk and whatnot. She can't do that now. She talks in gibberish, basically. And so we were at the funeral, and I refused to let her see him in the casket. I waited until they closed the casket, and I brought her in. And we sat in the front, and she saw the casket, and she leaned over to me, and she said, "Who is that?" That's where her mind was, you know. And I said, "That's Tim." Tim, that's her husband's name. And she looked at it, and she sat there for just a second. Then she leaned over to me, and she said, "Don't let me cry." Because she's very strong, you know. And I put my arm around her, and I said, "Okay, I won't let you cry." And since then, I've been taking care of her.
Wow.
You know, I'm her primary caregiver.
Wow.
So
Wow. That's a task that only people who have been caretakers like really understand.
Yeah.
The emotional side.
It's rough to see. She's a very, very strong woman, and she took care of two children basically, you know, until she met my stepfather on her own. And she was a school teacher. She did all this on a school teacher's salary, you know. So to see her language be taken away from her, you know, it's her physical ability. She was always out, you know, doing things in the public and out in the yard and, you know, that kind of thing. To see all that dissipate is rough.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're handling it. She's hanging in there.
Right. Well, she's a gift to the world, especially as a teacher.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
And then you are working on a script called Fight for It?
Well, Fight for It is it's a television show, and Marquise Moore is the creator. Marquise has been on The Walking Dead. He's doing some stuff with Tyler Perry Studios now. He's a pretty big deal.
Nice.
And I met him through my agent. And
who is your agent?
Candace Henderson.
Okay, she introduced us.
Right.
Okay.
And he and I hit it off, and he asked me if I would like to help him write some scripts for his new show. And I was like, yeah, of course. So we started writing, and he's pitching now.
Nice.
So
Congratulations.
got our fingers crossed there.
And you also got a letter of intent from
Bill Duke, which is huge.
for Love is Black and White.
Love and Black and White. Right.
Yeah.
It's in there somewhere. Yeah, we got a letter of intent from him last week from his management. They love the project. And basically what it is saying is that when we are in place, when we get the funding and we are in place to make it, then he will sign on as director.
Nice.
So that's huge for us.
Well,
Bill Duke is he's a legend.
Congratulations. I mean, I believe if, you know, people are interested in stories that change and that do something. I'm interested in that. I think there needs to be more of it. So with that being said, you get some jelly beans.
Nice.
For being a gift in life.
Nice.
And, you know, I think that these three projects that you've just talked about, you don't know what change they're going to put into the world. And you're trying, and you're putting something worth of value out there. So
we're already getting a lot of hits on the website. We have a little teaser trailer up now, and people are running to it and loving it. You know, let me see more. When's it come out? You know, that kind of thing.
And it makes you as a human being feel like that you've contributed your life. You have contributed to something. You know.
Right. And that's what it's about too. It's not about money and fame and all that stuff. I mean, all that's nice. But as an artist, a true artist, it's about moving people. It's about the art itself. It's about somebody sitting down and 2 hours later feeling better than they did when they walked into the theater.
Yes.
You know, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, that's the beauty.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to an upcoming writer?
Basically, I would say don't stop. Don't stop writing, and don't listen to naysayers. 5 years ago, I had people, even some people in my own family, saying, you know, you're never going to get anywhere with this writing. This is, you know, that kind of thing.
And that's why we don't have enough writers.
And I kept going, and now I'm working, you know, I've got an offer to work with Bill Duke, and I'm working with Marquise, and these are things that would have never happened if I had listened to them. You know, no, don't listen to, they always have something to say, and don't listen to they.
Right.
You know, listen to yourself.
Yeah.
If you feel
I
it, go.
believe certain people have a calling on their life. And it'll make me emotional when I'm talking about this, because I really believe this. I believe
Right.
that certain people have a calling in their life. And I believe until they fulfill that calling or that duty, that it will keep eating at them and eating at them. And I think with the story Love in Black and White, that's it. You have a calling to tell a story.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and 4 years ago when I first started taking care of my mom, I was nervous about it. I was scared, and I was also a little bit bothered because I was going to be giving up a lot of freedom. But then I got in there and I started taking care of her, and something really wonderful happened. While I was taking care of her, I got even more creative. And so the outside influences that were on me, that kept me away from writing when I was on my own, were released when I came in and started taking care of her, because I was
Wow.
pretty much stationary. So I've written 13 shows
Wow.
since in 4 years
And
that
again,
I never would have done.
And again,
you know.
your mom's a gift.
Exactly. That's
Wow.
one of the reasons that's one of the ways she gifted me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thank you for being on the show and for
Thank
sharing
you.
with us. And
Thank you.
and we hope to follow you and follow your progress and what you're doing.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
Dempsey traveled here from Charlotte,
Right.
South Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. North Carolina.
One of those Carolinas.
I don't know. I'm
like-
so challenged in locations and directions, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, and if you have any questions, please comment down below. We'll be glad to answer those. Please give a shout out to Dempsey in the comments. We love to hear you cheering these guys on. They work so hard, and most of all, we hope this segment inspired and educated you.